There.
Oh,
All right.
thank you.
All right.
So Charlie.
All right. I think what is happening here is she doesn't believe I can do this interview sober.
Sober? I don't think I can do this interview sober, that's the truth. No, he's just said we've had these 2 interviews in the past and they've all been sort of like brow furrowing, you know, forelock tugging, you know, leather elbow kind of highbrow interviews. So I thought, you know, why don't we just have
a party?
We're going to have a party here. We're going to have a conversation, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
this was her idea, and I love it.
Oh,
And if you'd had the day that I've had, you'd love it too.
Okay, so now look at this. So this is the jigger that my publicist brought me.
Oh, yeah.
But this is the one I brought from home, right?
We're convinced that God will like this.
Yeah. Okay, so, and my daughter said, it takes too long on this, because people who came to this thing do not want to watch.
She's a lawyer. What does
watch
she know?
you make a martini. But okay, so I'll do this as quickly as I can.
All right.
Yeah, my Walmart bag here. So.
I remind you, this was her idea.
Yeah, but you're not opposed to it,
and
honey.
who can quarrel with Sally Mann?
Well,
No
I
one I
wouldn't
know.
try it.
No one I know.
Yeah, okay, so so this, as you know, is a mallet, but in my bag, going to the airport, I got through the Roanoke,
This is Roanoke, Virginia.
Roanoke, Virginia TSA thing with my ancestral mallet. It had been in the family since the Adams, and I'm not kidding. It was held together with a mortise and, it's not a mortar and pestle, what is it, a mortise and tencel or something? It was pegged. It was so old, and the edges were completely round. It didn't look, you know, croquet mallet-like at all. It was like a little ball at the end. It couldn't have hurt anything. So I go to Chicago, I get to O'Hare, and they take the thing away from me and throw it in the trash.
I knew they would do that.
You did? That's what my intern said. She said, what did you think?
Exactly.
Come on, a little gray-haired gumboil like me. What am I going to do? Bonk somebody over the head with a round mallet?
Well, you never can tell. I'm taking it away from you as soon as you finish this.
Well, this is dangerous.
I know.
But the thing I had was just so simple. Now, do you care? I do care about the ice, how well it's beaten.
Yeah, I do care, but I don't like a lot of it. I mean,
you're not going to get any
I'm
ice.
mainly interested in the vodka.
Right. Yeah. Would you mind opening that? I've got
course.
arthritic hands.
All right,
That's
I can
fine.
do that.
Okay. I hope this isn't taking too
I
long.
can do that. It's turning.
This is not a joke bottle.
Yeah.
This isn't like one of those candles that you can't blow
I can
out.
tell you that that I've done a lot of things here at the 92nd Street. Why? This is the first time I've ever gotten it. Oh, I see it. Yeah, there is.
Okay. All right.
All right. All right, here we go.
Oh, shit. Don't want to.
No, don't.
God,
She said, oh,
not
shucks.
ice. Oh, sorry. Is there a law against profanity?
Nothing. There's a
in
law
this?
against nothing.
Okay, good. Thank God.
Here.
I am
You're
such a
pouring them out,
peckerwood.
the vodka.
Okay. Well, I got to
Okay.
get the proper jigger, so, okay. And I don't
No
use-
one is to tell anybody about this. You understand?
No, they won't. So I'm thinking three of these. But I'm a sort of, yeah.
See, this is the creative mind of a photographer. This is why she's so
Well-
damn good. Yeah, she's.
When I was a writer, I drank bourbon.
Yeah.
Because I was a Southern writer, right?
There you go.
So now I'm back to what your friend and my friend Reynolds Price used to call ardent spirits.
Yes, indeed, he did.
Isn't
This is
that
the great writer and
greatest
Rhodes
word?
Scholar and wonderful human
spirits.
being. All right.
Yeah, well,
so while can you actually talk and make
And shake.
vodka at the same time?
I don't know.
Martini?
I don't know. We'll see about that. It's whether I can talk
So
at
we're
all,
also
really.
inviting you, if we run out of time here, down to Lexington, to her house for dinner.
I'm really good at old fashions too, and mint juleps. Okay, but
and her
this,
staff of 15.
Oh, that's another thing. My watch doesn't have a second hand.
Okay, I'll take care of that. Go.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Okay. Sorry about this. And don't look at my jowls jiggling
Oops, my second
either.
hand is not working.
That's the worst part about getting older, these damn jowls.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
At least you can't see the flab under my arms jiggling.
You know, when I first came to New York, I did the show live. It was a local show over at Channel 13, then over on 58th Street. And people would come to do the show after dinner because it was live at 11. And we had some really wonderful interviews because people would have a bit too much wine at dinner and then wait and roll in about
It's a great trick.
10:50. And it often was a great interview.
Are you watching the time, honey?
Yeah. How much is it supposed to be? 2?
I'd say 2, yeah.
Okay. Is that 2? I think it's ready.
I think it's ready, dude.
I think it's ready.
All right, so
All right.
now,
Yeah.
hold on.
When was the last time you did this?
I've been drinking bourbon. This is
see,
my
I don't
first
drink-
ardent.
It's the one thing, I'm a Southerner who doesn't drink bourbon. That's,
Okay. No, we get. Okay, that's good. This is not my
I'm
whatchamacallit.
from Southern Russia.
Does that look about right? Oh, you're supposed to do this thing.
Yeah,
too.
but
Can
I
you do
don't,
that?
I don't know how to do this. Yeah.
What do you mean you don't have to do this? The servants do it for you? Come on now.
I really don't know how to do this.
Oh
You gotta do
boy.
that. You gotta do
Now I
that.
have to tell you the story about my intern who
Yeah.
came and I asked her to do the dishes and she'd never done the dishes.
They so much want to hear about photography. Oh, see, this is a twist like a twist ought to be.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I've never
Isn't that
twisted
right?
before.
Yeah. You've never done this
No,
before?
I don't
Okay.
do this.
Yeah.
Okay, so is that about right?
Yeah.
Do you squeeze it to get the oil?
Yeah, no, just lay it in. Just put it in there.
Just put it in?
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
You sure you don't want to squeeze it? Okay. Okay. All right.
Just want to drink the damn thing.
I know. Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Sally Mann is
That was
ready.
great. Woohoo! Phew. That
We
interview
could have
was
ordered
hard
these from
work.
across the street, but this is so much better.
Ah.
So let's just start way back.
Where are the napkins?
I don't know.
That's all right. Doesn't
You
matter.
want my tie?
Well, no, Nicole told me I should bring napkins, but you know, I
Well, it
used
shows
mine.
you.
Okay, never mind. We're
Shows
fine.
you.
Okay.
When did you fall in love with photography? Let's go way back.
We are going way back.
Yeah.
So I was 17.
Really?
Yeah, I was at Putney. I was just
It was
a
at
kid.
Putney when you.
Yeah, and I don't.
Somebody
ask
had a
me-
camera?
A boyfriend had a camera.
Bought it. Oh, you know what she said? I love this story. I think the reason
I'm
she became a
drinking.
photographer was because she liked to take her boyfriend into the dark room.
That is.
Am I right?
That is exactly
That
right.
is true.
Where else could
She
you
hasn't
go?
changed since.
No, no.
But did you knew you just loved it, or then did you
just
start
loved
taking pictures and people said this is pretty good? And
No, nobody said it was good. It wasn't good. It was awful. It was
yeah,
jejune and stupid. And I liked writing more back then.
Yeah.
Writing with a T.
you still like writing.
I like having written. I'm not sure. I'm not sure you can
Yeah,
say
a
I
lot of
like
people feel that way.
writing.
Cheers to you, my dear.
Yeah. Good, huh? Was the ice beaten just right?
Perfect.
Good.
Yeah. It
Okay.
was timed exactly right.
Right, I bet.
You know.
Like not a minute too soon.
So after all these years, how would you like to be perceived?
Well, I mean, the sort of Pollyanna answer is you want to be remembered as, a good friend to your family and a good wife
we
for
got all that,
46,
of
right?
course.
Can
And
we
you got a
can we
fabulous
dispense
family.
with all that?
Yeah, we can. We just assume that.
Well,
don't
yeah. Okay, well,
we? I think the
you
love
do,
of your
but-
family is seen in the photographs, my darling.
I like to think so.
It really is.
But different eyes see it different ways. You know that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to think I'd be seen as someone who wanted to provide tangible proof that
That you lived?
in my sweet and ordinary life, which is very ordinary life, that I was able to, find moments of transcendent immortality just within the quotidian. Because that's pretty much where I work.
Transcendent mortality.
Immortality.
Immortality.
Oh,
yeah.
and mortality too.
Yeah,
Well,
too.
while
That
we're
would be better,
talking-
wouldn't it? Transcendent mortality would be great.
Right.
Yeah. So, are you getting better, do you think? Has the experience propelled you each year with a sense of, or is it a different kind of growth? You go up like this, and then you grow out like that.
Okay, so I'm assuming that you consider yourself, pretty well skilled at your job, right? But don't you find, or at least I
I may be
find-
the only one, but I do.
Yeah, right, I'm sure that's the case. No, I find that as the more I work, the harder it gets and the more difficult it is to just take, and this probably isn't true in your case, but just to take the joy in taking the picture. I seem so much more interested in making work that is in service of a sort of overarching concept. And I feel that I need to say something, not necessarily just save it or take a picture of it, but I'm actually trying to make photography work, not in a documentary way, but so that makes it harder, and it takes a little bit of the joy out of it, I think, and that's right now I'm kind of wrestling with that. I've picked up the Leica again, just to take pictures to see what they look like, which is something I haven't done for years.
You have it in your pocket now?
I didn't bring it this time, but I'm going down south next week, and I'm going to take it and do the Delta.
Oh, terrific.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much we're going to talk about, so I'm going to skip around here because we'll talk about the memoir and Hold Still, and we'll talk about the new project, though. The two things I like. One, the two projects you have now. One about the place down in Virginia where all the alligators are.
We have no alligators in Virginia.
What's the swamp called?
Great Dismal Swamp.
Great Dismal Swamp. Yeah, but
right.
That's a project.
Yeah, that's within a bigger project. This sort of legacy of slavery project, which is going to be the.
And what did the Great Dismal Swamp mean to the legacy of
slavery? Well, it was a place of refuge.
People would hide there.
Yeah. Yeah, there was some high ground, and I've been there in the center of the Dismal Swamp where slaves could, if they could get to it without being eaten by the alligators and without being caught by the slave hunters, they formed whole communities, and they had, stores and churches and commerce and all kinds of stuff. So it was a place of refuge as
Now, what's interesting about this
is
on the North Carolina-Virginia border too, down near Norfolk and the Piedmont, the area down there. And it's I'd grown up knowing about this.
Yeah.
The Great Dismal Swamp.
Yeah, of course.
Not so much about the slave
Henderson,
aspect.
but weren't you in Henderson?
No, Henderson, Piedmont, but it's like several hours. They don't care about this, but
who cares about them? We're having a drink.
I know. I'm with you. But is this part of a larger project on slavery that you're doing?
Yeah, and I'm just going to get in so much trouble when I talk about it because it's sort of inchoate right at the moment. But
it's inchoate now.
It's going to have to get coet really fast. I've got a show at the National Gallery in a year and a half.
From now?
Yeah, it's in 18. Is that a year and a half? 2018? Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of midway in. Well,
okay, so it's actually 2 years from now. Thank God. Okay, I just bought myself another.
And what's that show going to be like?
It's an exploration, and the curator could say it better than me, of how the South has woven through my work from the very beginning, with the emphasis on family and land and death and defeat and ruin and decay and all the stuff we all know about.
We can see through the arc of your work the history of the South.
I think they're going to try and make that case. Yeah. And the centerpiece of this show is going to be this, and it's a big show, and the main room is going to be these pictures of black men that I've been working on for 10 or so years. And these pictures from the Dismal Swamp. How'd you know about this?
I know things. I
guess you do. And the pictures of the little clapboard churches.
Yeah.
I'm sort of interested in the things that offered hope to the slaves. The rivers. The rivers were, of course, a double-edged sword because they were the transport into America, but they were also the one reliable way out, either in the water or crossing.
They were brought to slavery by water.
Mostly on the James, too, our own venerable
the James River,
So it's sort of rivers and Dismal Swamp pictures, and the pictures of the black men, and then these little tiny pictures of churches, black churches. So that's sort of the center part of the show. First, there'll be some family pictures. Am I boring you to death?
No.
Okay.
They're on the edge of their seat.
Oh, I'm sure. They're on the edge of their seats wanting the rest of this martini.
Exactly. No, that's me.
Yeah, right. Family pictures and a bunch of new color family pictures that's never been printed before. And then the Deep South landscapes, right? And then the battlefield pictures and the black men. and then this sort of a room that's going to sort of loosely revolve around the idea of mortality. So touching on all those Southern things.
When you take your camera to photograph a face,
Which I don't do very often, but okay, go ahead.
but throughout your career you've taken
Well, yeah.
people.
Yeah, but not so much really. But go ahead,
Okay,
go ahead.
we'll come
I'll
back.
answer
We'll
it
look at the
anyway.
themes.
Okay.
And then you take a landscape, or then you take a church. How is it different in terms of what's going through your mind? Or is it simply you're seeing an image, and when it clicks with what your sense of what it ought to be, you snap?
Right. I mean, I think the experience of getting a good picture is pretty much the same, irrespective of what the picture is. It's like a little tuning fork trembling in your body. You feel it in the same way. I don't know that a safe breaker listens for the tumblers falling.
Right.
You know,
I do. That's what they do.
There's just a
And they can
perfect
hear it.
rightness that happens
See, that's-
when you get a good picture, and it doesn't matter.
You can just hear the
what
click,
it
click.
is. Yeah, and everything falls.
And it
into
doesn't,
place.
it's the same.
But it's more like the tuning fork. I mean, I actually feel it in my body when there's a good picture. Yeah.
Feel it.
I feel it.
And when you look at the images in the darkroom, is it always
If they're good.
holds true?
You mean, am I right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
if
right.
I haven't screwed it up somehow.
You'll
yeah,
remember the
then
picture and the image you saw when it sort of spread through your body, and when you look at it
Yeah,
in the
but
dark
don't
room.
forget we're talking a tenth of a second. And in that tenth of a second, particularly with people, you can miss it, as everyone knows. You can miss it by a tenth of a second. With a
what-
landscape, you're...
This is what you said in Hold Still. I existed in a welter of creativity, sleepless, anxious, self-doubting, pressing for both perfection and impiety, like some ungodly cross between a hummingbird and a bulldozer.
yeah.
A cross between a hummingbird
And a
and a bulldozer.
Someone said to me the other day, you're like a cross between Emily Dickinson and Whitman. I like the hummingbird and the bulldozer better.
Yeah. But tell us how you feel. I mean, live within that quote that you made.
Well, first of all, because this is a literate audience, I have to confess that impiety and perfection came from Flaubert. So don't call me. Yes,
You stole from
yes,
Flaubert?
yes. Oh, who wouldn't? Wouldn't you? If you're going to steal from anybody, wouldn't it be Flaubert?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
yes. But what is it they say? A great writer steals and a bad writer does something else.
A poor writer borrows, a great writer steals.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
so
but
true.
but is there creativity joined by doubt?
Is there creativity that isn't
Always with
wedded to doubt?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Doubt
do
of
you doubt?
what?
Can I just ask you a question?
I know they told me you wanted to interview me, and which
Yeah, I mean this. I mean, do you ever get panicked? Are you ever nervous about things, or do you just think you can always pull it off?
No, of course I do. Of course I do. I never know. I mean, I'm in the midst of writing 2 commencement speeches right now. One this weekend, one the weekend after that, and you want to say something to people.
Yeah.
Now, those are kind of special animals of themselves. But yes, and I'm literally nervous about you, who I love, adore, and we've had these remarkable kinds of outings together. You know, some sense of we're joined by a
So I
spirit.
wanted to calm you down with I thought the martini would help, because I knew you'd be anxious about this. Poor guy, he was probably hand-wringing the whole way here.
Really?
I'm sure.
You know, I mean, you're like the 7th interview I've done today.
I don't doubt it.
So
Yeah.
don't be so
So
sure.
how was Barack?
Barack was great.
Yeah.
You know, Barack and I did it walking too, which is I've never done before.
Jeez.
So there are no notes, no anything. We walked in this magnificent building in Germany and just walked and talked, and the camera. You know, you're worried about it because here I'm talking about myself. Stop it.
Keep going. Keep
No,
going.
no.
Nobody wants to hear about
No,
taking pictures.
They do. We do want to take. I mean,
God's
goodness
sake.
gracious. I mean, you are the Cartier-Bresson of your time.
Oh, I wish.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you can stop right there. He's the Cartier-Bresson
That's
this time.
true. He is. Yeah. Okay, so, but I mean, where is your ambition today?
Where is it, or where was it?
No, I want to know where it is.
You mean, what ambition do I have for the future?
Yeah, well, yes. What do you want to do? Where does Sally want to be? Where does Sally want to go? What does Sally want to achieve? What is unfinished about Sally's life? What is it that Sally...
That's the thing that, I don't know if it's with you, but the ambition never, you'd think you'd kind of calm down a little bit and you'd say, I've done a lot, I've really done a lot,
yeah.
you know, but...
You are great.
No, I've done enough, I've done all right, but I was thinking of that, that guy, Dencombe in Henry James, and he's like on his deathbed, and he's at the peak of his career. He's never made a misstep. Everything he's done is perfect, and he begs for one more chance to do something good. And and he has that wonderful. It's my mantra. It's we work in the dark. We do what we can. Our doubt is our passion, and our passion is our task. And it's this like little military march that I march to. I think of it all the time. We do what we can. We work in the dark. Our doubt is our passion. And that's it. My doubt is my passion. My doubt is my task.
Your doubt of what?
Everything myself. I am like cripplingly insecure. I mean, I'm not like you. I couldn't walk and talk to Barack.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
You're not like me.
Yeah.
No, yes, you could. Yes, you could. Because, and not just to single out one president, but I mean a very well-read, interesting human being with a great intellect.
Oh, aren't we going to miss him? Yeah.
Who I guarantee you appreciates your work.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. I mean, if I had anything to do with it, I'd have him give every award they have at the national government.
bless your
Okay,
heart.
but let's talk about photography and memory.
Yeah, that's a tricky one, isn't it?
I know.
Well, you know my feeling about it. You know my feeling because I said it in the book, in case you read the book. But
In case I read the book?
just giving you an out. The whole idea, well, I have lots of thoughts about memory.
I know.
One is that I think memory is probably, and I didn't talk about this so much in the book, richer than actual unvivid fact and life. I mean, there's this whole notion you go back to a place that you remember so completely vividly with Proustian evocation, and it turns out to be a pale replica of what your memory is of that place. I mean, this happens to anyone who goes back to their like childhood bedroom or something. It's just not the way you remember it. But I also have this theory about photographs displacing and subverting memory and undercutting them and actually destroying memories.
I do too. I mean, I think that's a legitimate question to ask. I mean, with the pervasiveness of smartphones and everybody and the and Instagram and all of that, we're so anxious to record that we don't fully drink deeply of the experience.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, would the church at Conroy have done what that Madeleine did? Is an image ever going to give you a one-dimensional, flat little faded, decollaged image going to ever give you the sensory, tactile taste and smell of a Madeleine or anything else that's richer than photography? I mean, photography is an impoverishing act, actually.
An impoverishing act?
Well, I mean, yeah, because it steals from your memory.
Steals from your memory.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that making a great photograph. There's a distinction. I guess we really should talk about the pictures that the snapshots, or the pictures that the people who don't look at the Mona Lisa but take a picture of it.
Right, exactly.
But I mean, I like to think that the pictures that I make and someone puts on their wall, we hope.
Lots of people put them on their wall. No, they do. I mean, you know that.
Are not stealing from their memories. They're enriching their imagination.
So what's the point of photography?
I mean, can I contradict myself just a tiny
Yeah.
little bit? I mean,
That's why I ask.
yeah, because you know as well as I do that there are pictures that if you didn't have them, you wouldn't remember that moment.
Yeah, exactly.
But there are also pictures that because you have them, you don't remember the dimensionality of the moment. That makes sense to you, right?
Yeah, it does. I mean, one of the phrases I'm proudest of, I said, you know, everybody knows that a picture's worth 1,000 words. You know, and I've said a word is worth 1,000 pictures.
Yeah, I think there's that too.
But I mean, I think that is the essence of what, and the essence of the great ones, you, Cartier-Bresson, Richard Avedon, and depending on a whole range, Robert Frank, a whole bunch of people. I'm naming the greats.
Yeah.
It is that you teach us by your photograph to look at things in an interesting way. You show us things that make us think about the experience of that thing. That's what you do. In the same way that a painting does that.
Yeah, I think that's why I said that thing about being so interested in enriching and enlivening the quotidian. I mean, I think that's just my particular way of looking at something. I said in the book that I could take a better picture in an airplane bathroom than I could in all of Versailles. I love the idea of making...
You could take a better picture of an airplane bathroom. Well, here's what I would argue. You could take the best picture of an airplane bathroom
of
we've ever
anyone.
seen. But I think you could probably do the same thing with Versailles.
Maybe, but I'd be happier in the airplane bathroom because I...
By the way, I just want to tell you, I'm way ahead of you, so
oh yeah.
you need to speed up.
Yeah, here, let me... God.
Speed up there,
Yeah.
girl.
Do you
Speed
need,
up there, girl.
Do you need more?
What?
Do you need more of that?
No, I'm fine.
You
It's
don't.
fine.
You don't put new lemon.
No.
Really? No. Okay, fine.
These are very good lemons.
Okay. All right. Good.
All right.
Where were we?
Well, I'll tell you where I want to go, because
Okay.
in limited time, I want to turn some questions. This audience has this really smart audience, so they have
That's
a lot
what
of
I'm
good questions.
scared to death.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I am.
Death.
I'm scared of that too.
Yeah, I am too. But
Yeah.
but you photograph it.
Yeah, I'm a little less scared of it having photographed it.
Are you really?
I think so.
How so?
I don't know. I think it was just seeing all those bodies. You know, we talked about this, but in America, you never see bodies. You know, they're whisked away to the funeral
right.
and all that kind of stuff. I think seeing...
So what do we see when we see your photographs of bodies?
Well, you see a natural devolution into the earth, and that encourages me. I think that's all for the good.
Can I move to that, which is not death, but life? Your husband, a great man.
Yeah.
I mean, your family's interesting. Your mother ran the bookstore.
Yeah.
You know, your father was
Doctor.
doctor. Your husband's a lawyer.
That's right.
You've 2 daughters and a son.
$2 and a son.
They have been the subject of your photography.
Yeah, pretty
Some of it controversial, some of it poignant, you know. What was it about?
Well, at different times about different things. But all of it is a way to explore the very, very unique and particular relationships among us. I mean, I pretty much only photograph the people I really love. And I hope I do it in a way that...
Never photographed me.
Never... I don't know, one more drink and we could probably work something out. Come down to the Delta, I'll take a picture of you down there.
I'd be in my element.
Yeah, I know, it's fun. So it's I can't say, I mean, Virginia's in the audience tonight. She could say whether or not but I think a relationship
But I mean, you know,
developed.
the remarkable Virginia. There was willful consent there. They were what, actors?
In part, and in
part.
times, yeah.
This was a creation of an act of art for you.
They were very sophisticated children,
Right.
and that's, you know, they to as great an extent as possible knew what was going on. And the same with Larry. And the pictures
Larry
of
being
Larry,
husband.
Larry being husband.
As he lives with muscular.
He has muscular dystrophy, and I did a series of work called Proud Flesh, which is one of my favorite
What a great
bodies of
title,
work.
Proud Flesh.
Yeah. He allowed me to take pictures and encouraged me to take pictures that made me squirm for him, that I was almost embarrassed to take. And they were so painful. They're still painful to look at with a sort of seemingly swollen belly and his wasted arms and legs. And
Atrophy and all.
Yeah, but you know, I said, I don't have to show this picture. And he said, oh, yeah, by all means show it. Never hesitates, never.
But that says something about his pride, dignity, and courage.
Yeah. And his, going back to your original question, which I've sort of glossed over and managed to not answer, his belief in what photography does. And what is that?
What is his belief in which photography?
Well, that's just it. That's the question that I glossed over and didn't exactly answer.
So
and I'm not
please
really
answer the question.
sure. I think he sees it as a much more documentary and not didactic exactly, but helpful, like life-enhancing, life-affirming act to do those pictures and to show them and to be willing to show them.
So he's a participant because he recognizes it's part of a significant piece of art.
I think so, and also because he wants to say, he wants to send the message that you shouldn't be afraid of your body, you shouldn't be afraid of the treachery of your body, you
shouldn't be afraid of age.
And you shouldn't be afraid of age.
You know, that there is
easier said than done.
There is a spring, summer, winter, and fall.
Yeah, yeah. So, and he's willing to do that, and never does he look back. He doesn't regret any of it. I don't know.
Has anybody in the family ever regretted any of it?
I don't know, Virginia. I mean, there was some teasing a little bit when they were young, but I think that was...
The critics said it was more than teasing. I mean, they thought you were a pornographer.
There were a few. I wouldn't say that there was that much.
Oh, it got pretty rough there. You had stalkers and everything else.
But that's just a crazy person.
Well, I don't know, but I'm scared of crazy people.
Yeah, no,
That's what I'm scared of.
Yeah, I know. I was scared of that crazy person too. But I don't know that they regret. Virginia, where are you? Do you regret them?
Where is Virginia?
Oh, come on, girl.
Raise your hand. There she is.
There you are.
Virginia, were you scared of it? No.
Scared of the pictures.
The pictures. We're going to turn to a microphone in a second. We'll come right back to this and let her speak.
Yeah. Come up here, girl.
Yeah, come up here, girl.
We've got just enough. Come on.
Bring a camera.
There.
Bring a chair.
There.
Bring a drink. Come up here.
Come on.
Come on.
I swear.
I know. What's wrong? This is Virginia Mann, who's a wonderful lawyer here in New York.
Boy, she doesn't get very much.
Where are you? Bring a chair here, folks.
I certainly wouldn't ask you for any of yours for her.
Oh, no, I'll give some of mine. There.
All right, I'll give you that if you say really nice things about me, okay?
Yeah. Flashbacks.
Just like the old days.
There we go.
You get to have a little Kool-Aid if you'll model.
Never seen any of this. There you go.
Oh,
perfect.
thank you.
Perfect. She's got a mic. She's got a drink. She can participate.
All right.
Just
not
talk.
cold anymore.
Talk a little bit about the sense. You and I have done this before on television, so talk a little bit about the sense of what it was like for you. I mean, and because you have the insight of being, when people looked at everything that was done, a few said, this is remarkable art. I know so many people that consider these photographs extraordinary. On the other hand, there's some people who said, how does she feel? This is why you love her. This is why you love her.
My answer, I think, evolves because at the time that the pictures came out, I was 8 or 9. And to me, I felt immense pride when they first came out.
Can you hear her back there? I want to make sure.
Sorry, am I not?
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
I'm not a professional like they are. I was very proud when they first came out, and then I certainly felt a backlash as a child in
You felt
school.
it in what way?
I was teased, and I think people that I went to school with in rural Virginia were a little bit confused about all of it.
Right.
But since then, I have been able to keep a fair amount of anonymity. I get to choose when I tell people of my background. It's not like I walk down the street in New York and anyone's like, "Oh my God, you're that little naked girl. I knew it."
That's right.
So I relish in
Oh,
that.
but they think it.
Well, so it's been interesting, but I mean, certainly always come back to a sense of pride.
Tell me about your mother. I'm serious. Tell me about your
There
mother.
might be a little more in here.
What kind of bribery do we have in store?
Yeah, I
here?
know.
We just, all we have are lubricants. But tell me about her. I mean, you live in New York. You're an attorney, not an artist. Was it in your DNA to be an artist?
Not mine. certainly my sister's.
Your sister is, she's a painter though. She's not a photographer.
Correct. She's
Right.
a painter, a poet, Lord, an essayist.
Yeah.
She covers a lot of different.
And now she's in medical school.
Right. She ticks a lot of boxes.
Your daughter, the doctor.
Right.
Yeah, she's
Yes.
amazing.
A doctor and a lawyer.
Yeah,
Could have
Yeah.
thought.
that's right. You've done well.
We'll see. Maybe
No,
they
but
can take care
help
of
us
me
understand
while
because you had a front row seat to this remarkable, journey that your mother's gone through to becoming, one of the great artists.
I think the thing that I always take away from it is your Flaubert quote, or was that Henry James?
Oh, the Henry James.
Henry James.
My little Martian.
She just never lets up. And at a time when the rest of us are ready to just sort of, it's kind of in the pictures, the rest of
Yeah.
us are
No,
playing and
that's
she's
right.
working.
Yeah.
And I don't know anybody else with that work ethic, maybe other than you.
Yeah, well, I do.
Maybe.
Yeah, we're a good
No, I do
pair.
share that. We are that. We
Yeah.
share that. I mean, it's like you cannot make it good enough.
No.
There was
Yeah.
a sense of, you work until you drop, but in the end, you will never make it as good as your mind can imagine it. And what I do is not high art, but what she does is high art.
Yeah, but
at
when
the
you
same time, it's the
replay-
craft of a conversation having to do with human beings, and by extension, what they have done with their life.
Do you ever have that terrible funhouse mirror sort of effect where you go back, you're lying? I'm a terrible insomniac. I lie in bed and I'll remember tonight and I'll think, oh my God, my fly was down, or oh my God, did I really say that?
I don't think
Did
Charlie worries about that.
No, I don't.
You don't do that.
No, I
You
don't.
don't
No.
see yourself blown up writ large as a
Yeah,
buffoon.
I sleep like a baby.
You don't know how lucky you are.
No, I do know. I know.
Huh.
But so, what does she mean? I mean, tell me how you see her as. I mean, she's mom most of all, and
Right,
he
of
is dad
course.
most of all,
Right.
and they are siblings most of all.
Right.
But beyond that, this is Sally Mann, for God's sakes.
You remember that too.
I can't possibly make that line. I mean,
Yeah.
she is my mother, and I think everybody here knows that their mothers have different identities. But
Yeah. Yeah,
the
but I
most
don't.
important one.
Yeah. See, I think what do I know? I think she has an artist temperament, and I probably have interviewed more artists.
Oh, she's been tricky, if that's what
Yeah,
you mean.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Notice how her hair has sort of come down during the course of this conversation.
All right, I'm turning into a vamp,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. But let me come back. Go ahead. Tell me more about
Her
her. Yeah.
The artistic
Yeah.
temperament.
Right.
No, I mean, I think one of the biggest things that we ever did that solidified our relationship was I went for my spring break in middle school. The last thing I possibly wanted to do was to do a 2-week road trip throughout the South with my mother. And so a lot of the Deep South pictures, I was there with her in a Suburban, just the two of us. I was 12, 11, 12.
Something like that.
And that was very formative to appreciate you as a human being and to appreciate you also as an artist rather than simply.
Yeah. You have to come to that realization. I mean, she's mom, but she's also artist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I just talk about race for a moment here? And I want to open this up to this
I think I
wonderful
should
audience.
leave at that
No,
point.
don't. You stay. We insist you stay.
Don't take that with you.
No, you just sit here. Please. Race.
Race.
There was Gigi in your world.
Yeah.
There was someone like that in my world, too, growing up in the South. Tell me about race.
How oblivious were you to the suffering of your somebody?
No, I would, total. I mean, she was so much a member of my family.
Right.
Her name was Mary Lizzie. So much a member of my family. I mean, and
What time did she come to work in the morning?
she lived with us.
Oh, my.
Come to work.
Ah, she
Lived with us.
How old was she?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
I don't know. But I mean, she lived long. But she was she's like my friend, and it was very much. But there was always respect.
Oh, gosh.
Always
yes.
respect. Tell me about race
Yeah,
and you in the
well,
South.
yeah.
Gigi.
Yeah, you don't remember petticoats, but we had petticoats.
I don't.
And if the petticoats hung below the level
Yeah.
of your skirt, woo,
Yeah.
she'd whip the backside of your legs.
I know. And
Yeah.
With authority and no fear
yeah.
of reprimand.
Yeah, she would do it with my mother. She wouldn't whip my mother, but she would call my mother back if she left the house and she wasn't properly dressed.
It's a very interesting thing for those of you from Manhattan, or it is this notion of, for those of us who grew up in the South, it's just, we all are aware of all the sins of our fathers and our history. Yet at the same time, in certain different kinds of ways, there's a certain respect. But what are you trying to do now?
What do you
is
mean
my
a
question.
certain respect? You mean a certain? It's not so much
not in
respect,
a
it's
paternal way at all.
Right. No.
Just a respect for the integrity and the grit and the
a respect for the
character
love that
of
actually
people,
did
yeah,
happen
of people that you
within
knew.
that inhuman
in that
situation.
inhuman
There
relationship.
was love.
This was not slavery, though.
No, but it was damn near Jim Crow when we were growing
it was.
up. I mean,
It
we're
was
the
Jim
same
Crow.
age, just
Yeah.
about, and it was not.
I'm older than you are.
Oh, by
She keeps saying it.
by. It was the same. I mean, it wasn't.
Good, isn't it?
Worth the price of admission.
It is. Okay, so I'm going to turn to the question. In terms of what do you hope to leave as your legacy, I've mentioned family. I've mentioned geography, location. I've mentioned some husband and death, and not him dying, but him living
Right.
with muscular dystrophy, and how that can be in some ways painful unless there is dignity somewhere. Thank you. So, what do you want to say about race?
Well,
what do you want to photograph about race?
About race. In a certain way, this is a very personal project to me. This is just between me and all the black men and women of my childhood. This is just I'm trying to settle not a score. I'm trying to reach some kind of understanding between me and the many, many people to whom I was oblivious.
But does it come from guilt or something else?
Well, that's interesting that we use the word respect and dignity. Yeah. No, it's not. I mean, yes, there's plenty of guilt. There's plenty of guilt.
Yeah.
I wish there wasn't, but there is. I can think of any number of times, even times in the last decade where I've been thoughtless or made assumptions, and I'm a racist like everybody else. You make racial judgments without
That's because
even
you're so
knowing.
blindingly truthful.
I know.
What made you name me after her?
Respect and love and carrying
That's
on.
a very good question.
Yeah.
Respect and
love.
All right, I'm going to take some of your questions here because, Sally, when was the definitive moment when you knew, well, we said this, you wanted to be a photographer. We said that.
Yep.
Putney. you began your career as a writer-poet. How does background of your affinity for literature influence the way you make images or develop a body of work?
You know, it's been really interesting. It took me 5 years to write the damn book. And then now I've gone back to being a photographer, and I didn't think there was any relationship between the two. The writing of the book, everything had to be man-hauled out of my guts, and it wasn't anything like photography, where with photography, it's a question of making choices. You know, that's what photography is all about. You choose exactly what you want to take pictures of. With writing, it's like you have to create the choices and then, you know, refine them. So it's just an entirely different thing. But, okay, so now I'm back to printing again for the first time in ages, and I'm in front of the developing tray, and I put the paper in, and I'm still an old-fashioned photographer, and I watch as the developer is kind of brown and murky, and I watch as the image starts to come up, and I think, there is this amazing parallel between photography and writing, because it's like my memories are sort of swimming to the surface and becoming visible. That same impulse and thing happening.
Do you think you found the best expression for your creativity?
Which one?
Photography first. You don't necessarily.
Yeah, no, I think it is, but I did love writing, I have to say. And that was...
And still do.
It's fun. I mean, it was hard.
Okay, hi, Sally.
Hi there.
I was in your class at ICD 25 years ago, film.
ICP, must have.
ICP, okay.
Yeah,
What are, I assume the International Course in Photography?
Center of Photography, maybe?
Okay,
I taught a workshop.
Right.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on digital?
Well, I mean, I think it's a useful tool, that digital. I'm not going to abandon film unless it abandons me, which it might very well happen. It may just be that there isn't going to be any more film, but I'm not giving up on it. So I do use digital in a couple of different ways. One way is, and I'll make this really quick. I use a lot of glass plates, and sometimes I break them, and you can now scan it, stitch it together on the computer, and then while you're at it, you can make it a better picture by burning and dodging in the computer, and then you can send it to Chicago, and for $200, they give you an 8x10 negative on regular Tri-X film. Can you believe that?
That's amazing.
But yeah, so digital is just another way for me to get pictures, but I'm still going to keep taking with film, I think.
I'm struck by the number of questions having to do with process. Do you print your own images for exhibits?
Yes, all of them. Yeah, if I didn't print pictures, I probably would take a lot more and be a lot better photographer. But I'm just like a factory worker. I'm a peasant. I print.
Because?
I don't know what it is in
Control.
my weird look. Control. There you go. Okay, a little OCD here.
You're the best addition we could have had to this interview. This is like the other voice.
Okay, control.
And then the question is what is your favorite Sally Mann picture? What's your favorite Sally Mann picture?
Oh, I don't know. I'm real fond of The Perfect Tomato, which... Yeah.
Now, see, here's the interesting thing about that. Some people accused you at that time of saying tomato represents certain kinds.
Oh, yeah, what the
and
hell
you said,
was that about?
What?
Oh, my God.
You said,
it's not even in the
I never
OED.
thought about it.
It's not even I looked it up in the OED. Tomato is not even slang. It's not even like film noir slang. I don't know what that shit's about. God. Sometimes I just want to, I get really impatient.
In your book, you describe your friendship with Cy Twombly.
Yes. Was that a question?
Yeah.
Oh,
What
sorry.
was it?
Oh, what was my friendship with Cy Twombly? Well, it was, went way back. It was a good friendship. There was a lot of humor in it. Fair amount of intimacy. We talked about art. We talked about his art.
Now, I'm not probing here, but
Yeah.
I'm really, the idea of intimacy is very important and interesting to me.
Yeah.
I mean, someone said to me about in interviewing the other day, they said that you create a chemistry of intimacy. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think the idea of intimacy is important. What do you mean?
I think the idea of chemistry is important.
Yeah.
I think there's a certain chemistry that happens between people. And I think it's apparent almost, I mean, I'm in that Malcolm Gladwell Blink.
Yeah, it's first glance.
I think it happens almost immediately, but I also think that it really helps to have had such similar backgrounds, which we did. We grew up in the same town. We had exactly the same childhood experiences, same as you with, your Virginia, your Liz? Mary Lizzie, and my Virginia, and his Lulabelle. And all those experiences really help to form a sort of vinculum, a kind of glue, a bond. And you almost know it instantly with, or at least with Cy. I mean, he and I were very close. Well, we were.
I know. There's a thing in the theater they call silence. Mm-hmm. Can you please tell me more about your current series, which we've done, and your project on the legacy of slavery in the South, which we've done? What are you working on currently? Okay. Well, Sally, what was the definitive moment you wanted to be a photographer? We've covered that. You began your career as a writer-poet. How does this background and your affinity for literature?
We did that too.
We did that too.
Yeah.
Damn, we've been pretty good.
Yeah, we're done. We're going to have to just open it up to the
martini.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm prepared to do that. In your interview, what are the elements that make for a great photo? I mean, everybody wants to know that, so just tell us.
Well, I mean, there is the tuning fork in the stomach. What are the elements that make for a good? I mean, felicitous proportion. I don't know, proportion.
Okay, so I want to ask this really profound and philosophical question.
Oh, for God's sake.
Who is your favorite photographer?
Oh, that's like asking someone.
Whose photographs have influenced you the most?
Everybody's. I am omnivorous and eclectic, and oh God, yes, I'll steal from anybody.
I will
and
too.
I do. I steal.
I will too.
Yeah, I'm
Anybody.
shameless,
Me
shameless
too.
thief.
You see a good idea, just grab it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Work it, honey. Work it. Yeah.
Work it.
Work it like a rented mule.
Yeah. Are there boundaries where you will not photograph, where you don't want to go?
Dignity.
Dignity.
Dignity. Back to that.
See, that's
back
interesting.
To that same word.
And you should speak to this in terms of Larry.
I know, but he has no.
No, but you basically said to him.
I don't know.
What?
He
Virginia?
He doesn't care.
No.
Hold the microphone up.
Sorry.
So we can hear you.
I don't think it's that he doesn't care.
Okay.
What do you think
He
it is?
certainly has dignity.
No. Well, yeah, no, he's
Right.
the most dignified person in the family.
Exactly
That's the
right,
thing,
yeah.
is that he doesn't define dignity as
That way, yeah,
in
exactly.
any appearance. It would never be something that would show up in a picture.
Yeah, he just has so much personal strength.
Say it again.
He has so much personal strength. Just it's a kind of rectitude without being Calvinist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's
No judgment.
Yeah, it's non-judgmental, but there's just a certain.
But here's what's interesting. It's a little bit like the idea that everything is available. I mean, the notion of Nora Ephron's mother said everything is copy. It's almost like Larry has said, I understand the power of what you're doing. I understand that. So I bring my own dignity to it, but I understand that I'm going to look in the eyes of some people with a certain vulnerability, with a certain fragility,
Right.
with a certain, Yet I accept that because I believe in the art.
I was just going to say, it's an overarching idea that he has about the importance of art. I mean, he certainly hopes that mine is good enough to qualify.
That
was
Virginia?
what we all felt.
Yeah, everybody, all of you, at an early age,
Yes.
that this is art.
Yes.
But somebody are out there saying all these nasty little things. For us, it's art. We are part of an artistic thing. We are actors in a drama.
Yes, that was very clear.
Yeah.
One of the questions, which is a real thorny one, is the question of Dora Maar, for example.
For Picasso.
Yeah. The question is, okay, is it okay to make art. I'm sorry. Well, no, we're at the end, aren't we?
No.
Okay, never mind that question.
No.
When is it okay? What is that Faulkner quote about? I'd run over, a little old woman if I could write the ode to a Grecian urn or something.
Yeah.
But the thing is that we're
So
not
would you.
all Keatsian.
So would you.
Yeah, but I'm not John Keats. Do I have the right to run over a little old lady to make my pictures of my children?
It's not the question of your right. You would.
I would.
Your
but
art means that much to you.
But
and you
it damn
believe
well
in it
better
that
be good
much.
art.
Huh?
And that was the one promise I made to myself when I took the chance.
It
that
had to
I
be
did.
good.
Right. If you're gonna operate on that arc of audacity, which is the arc that I was operating on with these children, I had to be damn sure that I wasn't wasting their time and their trust, and the pictures had to be good. It's just to paraphrase that.
Virginia, you keep. I assume from everything that I know about the family, you believe your mother has kept the faith. Well, not.
Better than I ever imagined.
Really? Now, what does that mean?
I think that she could have given up at some point and not kept this relentless task towards
Why would you expect that from an artist of her caliber?
Why wouldn't I?
My sense would be, I just take that for granted with someone like Sally Mann. The relentlessness is who she is. It's deeply in her DNA.
But I think you're looking back now.
Exactly.
Right.
That's very different.
It's
very different.
It's grown over years, and it's been proven time and time again.
There's a great line from my friend Jim Lewis who said, "An asshole who makes great art is an asshole who makes great art, but an asshole who makes bad art is just an asshole."
Exactly. There's no better place to close than that.
You decide which kind of asshole I am.
You've been a wonderful audience. I love Sally Mann. I love Virginia Mann. This has been, for me, a great evening. Thank you.